I want to tell you the story that ruined me. I think I'll tell you the story after all. So, a reasonable question that one might ask is, how did I get so cocky? And people have been asking me that a lot lately. It has a lot to do with me being right a lot. So, of course, I'm cockier when I'm more right. And when I'm more wrong about things, I tend to tone it down as one should. But there was something that happened to me in 8th grade that is part of my story. Remember I told you that it's good to have a story that is a story of you? So that there's sort of a personal story that is your brand. It's sort of internal. You don't have to share it with anybody. But it's basically the story that describes you. And my story, as I've told you, is that I always win. Now, it's not true, obviously. It's not true that I always win. I'm sure I lose probably as much as everybody else, if you actually did a scientific study of it. But my story is that I can come from behind, and my story is that I can win against great odds. Now, I have lots of anecdotal stories that's happened, probably a dozen different situations in which I beat the odds in ways that just seem weird. It just doesn't even seem possible. I mean, the fact that I'm even here talking to you is because I beat the odds in so many ways, it's hard to believe. But I think it all started in 8th grade, and here's the story. My 8th grade teacher was teaching the class how to properly answer questions on an upcoming standardized state test. I think it was the Regents. And he said, we'll go over some example questions, and that'll teach you basically the style of how to answer the questions, And they were multiple choice, and the instructor says, the teacher says, all right, now here's the question, and the answer obviously is B. So you would put B in this little box. And I raised my hand, I said, no, I think the answer is actually A. And my biology teacher was like, you could tell he was a little put out. He was like, no, the answer is B. And then he starts to go on to the next thing, and I was like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm pretty sure the answer is A. Now, keep in mind what's going on here. I was in 8th grade, and he was a biology teacher, and it was a biology question on a standardized test. One assumes that he also had the answer sheet, right? So he's a biology teacher with the answer sheet, and I'm disagreeing with him in the class and telling him he got the wrong answer on a multiple choice test, of which this question was designed to be the easy and obvious one because it's used as an example to teach the class how to answer the question. And so he said, no, trust me, I'm the biology teacher, you're the student, it's B. And this will tell you more about me than anything you would ever need to know about me is in this next part of the story. And then I said, yeah, I don't think so. Nope, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that you're right because you're the biology teacher and I'm the student. Because I'm looking at this question and I'm telling you, it's A. A few days go by. And by the way, I asked him if he had the answer sheet. And he said, no, I don't have the answer sheet, but let me remind you, I'm a biology teacher with a biology education. This is the course I teach. You would be a student who has not learned this yet. I say it's B. That's the end of the story. A few days later, teacher comes to me in class, and he goes, I was kind of curious, and so I hunted down the actual answer to that question, and the answer was A. You were right. Now, I think that ruined me for the rest of my life. Because, do you know how fun it was to be an 8th grader have a public discussion about with your teacher about the right answer to a biology question, and have him have to admit, and he said it in front of the rest of the class, and he had to admit that our public disagreement went my way. And by the way, the only reason that I knew I had the right answer is because there was something about the way the question was worded, and that I, as a good multiple choice question answerer, just sort of deduced it because of the structure of the question. I didn't even know the content. I didn't even know the subject matter. I just thought the question was worded differently. And so anyway, I think that ruined me because it sort of reinforced that thing that I could disagree with authority like an idiot and still come out okay. And you just watched me do it again. Disagreeing with authority is really stupid. If you ever find yourself in my situation where you want to disagree with the greatest experts in the world, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not going to go your way very often. You're not going to get lucky. I mean, I feel like there might be some luck involved here, because even I can't believe that I beat the odds so often.